we have a beagle, and I have often asked the question, why do dogs howl? Over the years, I've done a lot of research on it. I've actually talked to my veterinarian about it, and I've also talked about ways to stop howling and prevent howling, which I will get to later on in this video, so stay tuned if you're looking for some ways to get your dog to stop howling. Let's talk about howling and the behavior itself. It has ancestral roots, like many canine behaviors. There are a lot of myths about why dogs howl, but what it comes down to is that there are a number of reasons why dogs howl. So it's more about observing your dog and his behavior to try and figure out what that underlying cause is. Did you know that some cultures believe that dogs howl to signify death? They think that it signifies either someone is going to die or maybe even the dog themselves are going to die. Obviously, that is just a superstition. There hasn't ever been anything to prove that that's true, but there are a lot of misconceptions and myths out there. Some breeds certainly howl more than others. A recent study shows that ancient breeds like chows and huskies, basenjis, breeds like that they're more closely related to wild dogs, and they are the breeds that tend to howl the most. Whereas more recently developed breeds like Labradors and Golden Retrievers are the breeds that howl least out of all of the different dogs that they looked at in this research study. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and it definitely goes to show you that howling is one of those things that's just naturally ingrained in a dog. It's got ancestral roots, and it's something that your dog, it can't help. It's his natural instinct. So you want to make sure that, howling can certainly be annoying, but you're not punishing your dog for doing something that's a natural instinct that he has. So why do dogs howl? First reason, most prominent, overstimulation. Many dogs howl when they're stimulated by certain noises. For example, sirens. You may notice that when you hear sirens, your dog starts to howl. If there's sirens on TV, any kind of high-pitched music, they might howl in response to other animal vocalizations that they hear, whether in real life or on television. You may notice that stimulation is what causes your dog to howl. And really, this type of howling isn't troublesome because it only happens once in a while, and there's a pretty quick trigger that you can figure out. Speaking of ancestral roots, one of the reasons why dogs howl may be to actually lead you back home. In the wild, part of the canine pack will stay back in the den while others will go out and search for food. Howling is a form of communication that helps members of the pack find each other. So dogs that remain behind make those vocalizations to tell the dogs that are out in the wild to come back, that's the direction they need to come back home to safety. So your dog may actually be howling because he's trying to direct you back home. If you notice that your dog howls when he's left alone at home, they might start howling when they hear you drive into the driveway. That's a sign of, your dog howling to try to show you the way to come back to him. So it's actually kind of sweet and not maybe as naughty of a behavior as you think. Dogs might also howl for protection. Some dogs will howl, as I just talked about, to bring their family members in. Some dogs will howl to keep intruders outside. Howling signals to incoming dogs that a particular area is already claimed, and so their natural instinct is to howl to ward off predators. My dog may protect their home by howling the same way. So it may be out of protection. It may also be for attention. This is another really common one. Some dogs howl to communicate their need for some attention and affection from you. So, nothing obviously gets your attention quite like that piercing sound of a howl. And if you haven't been around a lot, maybe you work from home and so you're busy doing other things and not being attentive to your dog. If you notice that, your pet is howling to get attention, this can be something that a little bit of training can solve. And I actually have made a video guide on that, how to get your dog to stop barking or howling, which you can check out if you notice that this is kind of a troublesome, annoying behavior that your dog's doing on purpose. Anxiety is another another big reason why dogs will howl. Typically, you and your human family members, you are your dog's world. You are their excitement, you are their stimulation, you are their pack, their family, you are what they love. You really are their world. They focus on your activities, your arrivals and departures from the home. They're sometimes so focused on you, on their family, on having their people around that they get really anxious when you're away. And that can cause separation anxiety. It's very commonly seen in dogs. It's something that can be treated in a variety of ways, a lot of natural remedies for separation anxiety. So if you notice that your dog is howling the minute that you walk out the door, or let's say you go into the bathroom and you close the door, your dog's out in the hallway howling because he can't be with you, that's a sure sign of separation anxiety. Again, you can check out another video guide that I've made on separation anxiety and some of those natural remedies. You certainly don't have to medicate your dog unless it's a really severe case. And nothing else works, but there's a lot of things that you can try before you get to that point. So if it's something that you've been kind of putting off because you were worried about a trip to the vet or a prescription medication, anxiety is something that's really easily treated in a number of ways, and there are tons of products on the market to help with that. There are also some home remedies you can use. So separation anxiety is something that can be treated and works through with your pet. Another reason why your dog might howl is because he found something. Again, one of those ancestral, natural instincts. Howling can actually be your dog's way of saying, come over here, look what I found, or getting really excited about something. Dogs in the wild howl when they corner prey. If your dog digs something up and finds something really exciting, that may be his way of communicating that with you. Your dog may not necessarily be a hunter, but he could get excited when he finds something new in the backyard, or maybe sees a squirrel running through the trees and just gets really excited and wants to play, or sees other animals like other dogs when they get excited and they want to play. That's their way of communicating that excitement, is to howl. So it could be because they're excited or they found something new. And finally, it could be a sign of an injury. Now, this should be something that should be easy to tell for you. If your dog's to the point where he's howling out of pain or discomfort, you should certainly notice some other symptoms as well. So again, as with all of these, if you're trying to figure out why your dog's howling, observe him closely, check out those behaviors, see what's going on in the environment around him. Are there triggers going on? Are there other animals around? Is there a noise on TV that seems to be setting him off? Or look for other physical signs. Some cannot be ignored, and a howl for an injury is one of those. Especially if your dog is normally quite quiet and they start to howl out of nowhere, that's a pretty good sign that there's something wrong. People cry when they're hurt. You might yell when you get hurt, or give a little scream. Dogs do the same thing. So your dog could be howling to vocalize his pain. You certainly can check your dog over, give them a quick little exam at home, see if there's, you notice them like licking their paw a lot. Maybe there's a cut on their paw or an injury somewhere else on their body. You can massage your dog gently, see if there's any areas where he whines or howls in pain. But certainly a trip to the veterinarian would be recommended if you think that your dog is howling because of an injury.